Welcome back to the 5-Star Podcast, episode 36, I believe,
Hey,
right,
everyone.
guys?
Yeah, we screwed up the last one.
Yeah,
No.
I said
No,
36.
we didn't screw it up. Episode 36, we got Steve, Rich, Kenny, and myself, Winston. And today we're going to be talking about market update as well as the interest rate dropping.
Yeah, the interest rate drop is good news for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but is it really affecting the market? Spoiler, it's not.
It hasn't changed anything.
No, nothing's happened. In fact, I would say maybe it got worse. I don't know. I'm not seeing
Actually,
any
no,
activity.
I don't think it got worse. I think people are still like adjusting to the change right now. I think it's actually a positive thing. Personally, like I feel like people are like, okay, yeah, there is a bit of relief. There's a little more optimism in the marketplace, but they need to see another rate drop right before it actually starts to feel like there's
that's
changed.
what I mean. In that 1 week, I don't think anything has changed.
Not right now.
if
Like,
anything.
oh man, I talk to people. It's like, oh yeah, the interest rates changed. People are, maybe starting to look at things a little bit differently. It's like, it's just 0.25%. That's what
But a quarter percent doesn't do much, though.
But
really.
with the Bank of Canada, once they change, the lenders don't reflect the change right away.
They
So
do.
we're
They
not-
do. Yeah,
All the
variables
banks
Variables
changed the same day.
changed.
They announced it.
Just a quarter?
Yeah.
Yeah, variable mortgages changed. They save some money per month.
It doesn't really move the needle much.
Yeah,
'cause,
it's not
again,
substantial.
The quarter, sure, you get to borrow a little bit more money, but it doesn't really move the needle.
It's still positive sign. It's a positive
It is,
positive move,
yeah.
right? To help people become more able to buy and more money, right, in the market a little bit.
Like affordability wise.
It's a start, but
Yeah, it's a start. It's a
but
start.
Boots on the ground, I'm not noticing anything. Like I have a
Definitely.
couple listings downtown. They're not getting more showings than before.
Yeah, no, people are still not ready to make any moves, make any changes yet. Think about like when the actual interest rates started to really decrease. I think March 2022. Right. Increase, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Is that
I heard
what
decrease.
No, you said decrease. I
Oh,
have it on my
my bad,
bed.
my bad. Yeah.
Recorded.
But when it started to increase, right, we still saw activity happen.
Yeah,
Right,
I'd say
there's
the
still a lot of
first-
activity. People were just looking for deals. Everyone was lowballing everything. The market kind of like had a bit of a stop. But then when they started, when the actual thing really changed was was around June.
Yeah, they were
June in
accelerating
2022.
the increase. So like half point, 1 point.
Okay, so you're saying it takes a couple weeks or a couple months to
I think
really
a couple of
feel
changes.
and observe the changes in the market.
Yeah, once they see a couple of changes, maybe not two.
So do you think
maybe
the summer is going to
3.
be really bad too, or do you think it's going to be?
I think it's
any
going to be. I mean, what are you feeling now?
I think summer's gonna be bad.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
going to be exactly what we're feeling now.
I think summer would have been worse if they did not cut the interest rates. But now that they cut it, I think it's not really bad. It's
It's in
just
the right
bad.
direction at least. I think at least there's some positivity in the market. Buyers and sellers are a little bit more optimistic, but they're not to the point where they're rushing to make a move.
I might disagree slightly. Like, it depends on the price point because I find any product that's under $1 million, a lot of lenders and buyers are still optimistic because the difference wouldn't be that substantial, right? If they are waiting for a further drop, they're dropping
I mean, anything under $1 million is still a first-time home buyer product because CMHC would only approve up to $1 million. So therefore, people who are trying to get into the market, that target is actually going to make a big impact, right? So obviously, anything above, like below 1 million, is going to make some kind of significant like changes, right? Anything above $1 million, right? It starts to change.
Yeah, so it's a mixed market. Like some aspects, it may become slower, as Kenny said. But the first-time home buyer market, in fact, I see that surging over the summer because a lot of renters are able to transition and make a decision. Based on the previous year, because a lot of people shied away from buying and they jumped into the rental market. And now some of their leases are coming up.
Yeah, but the rental rates have either stayed flat or gone down.
Right. So now that they see the market is slowing down, it's time to buy. As a first-time buyer, like if you're observing the market, okay, well, interest rates are coming down slightly, but it's headed to the right direction.
So you're saying it's a good opportunity for buyers to get into the market, first-time home buyers.
Not,
to get
yeah,
into the
first-time
market.
home buyer. Not all buyers. People with a higher ticket.
That's true. You know what? I can see that because I mean, I can see that as being a good opportunity. It's trying to get people to get their mindset around the idea of buying now. Because think about it, uncle, dad, mom, sister.
Uncle, dad, what?
Right? Uncle, dad, mom, sister. They're all
Yeah.
going to be like, no, don't buy now.
Yeah.
Like, it's a stupid time to buy. Like we're gonna see this bubble burst. The market's gonna burst. Like,
But first time home buyer, you got to live, right? So
but it's an opportunity. So like I'm just saying is that like people have to they have to get their mindset around the idea of purchasing at this time.
Do
If they
you
can get
think
in,
like
you can get in. Right?
from our standpoint, do you guys need to do a lot of convincing to these?
No,
these
because you know what, you're
purchasers?
not going to change someone's mindset.
Yeah.
Like no matter how much you try to change, you can ask a few questions, but if their mindset's set, they're set.
Yeah.
Like you have to find the people that are motivated to want to do something.
Of course.
you know the biggest difference for first time home buyer, they have nothing to sell. Like they don't have to worry about, oh, I need to get a higher price for my house. When you're transitioning from a home to home, like that's a different market segment because they need the highest price for their home. And then
So that they
and
can
then-
get the lending.
exactly.
Yeah.
So they don't they don't want to get caught in the market. Like if there's a differential, if I sell now and I get a lower price, what if I buy later and the price increase?
But wouldn't first time home buyers have even more trouble because they don't have existing equity?
Well, I mentioned the bank of mom and dad. When they're able to help and they're eager to qualify now,
Well,
if there's less
wouldn't-
demand, that's an opportunity.
Wouldn't most people buying their first property be going into the condo market rather than the house?
You never know. Actually, I have first time buyers looking for houses right now. It's just it varies. Depends
I know
on what they want.
but like
and how much if it's like two people buying together, right? Then they can afford
jump over the
Yeah.
million threshold.
not even no because they still don't have the 20% down,
That's right.
right? So if
So-
they don't have the 20% down, they can't get over that million threshold.
Exactly. So that's what
So
I'm saying.
they'll
Like,
be in the first time buyer
Yeah.
category, but they'll be in like the 800,000, 900,000, not
Right.
just the condo, like maybe.
I mean, they're still going to
be.
be borrowing quite a bit regardless.
So
Yeah,
no, I
yeah.
actually I have worked currently even working with several clients. They're bringing money in from abroad. Like they sold land, and they sold like maybe family home back home, and they're just finding ways to bring money in.
But they
As a down
are
payment.
citizens though.
They are
They're
citizens. Yeah,
Canadians.
yeah. They got through work permit, and then they're
Okay.
they got the PR, and they're able to
So you're
purchase
saying
now.
that these people are able to buy because they have money that's coming in from overseas?
Well, they're changing their life.
So they
career.
have money. They have
They have
money.
money.
coming
So
through.
so they're
Okay.
able to do maybe 30-40% down and then qualify for, I mean, to be able to be in the first time, kind of like first time home buyer market under a
But
mil.
you were talking about the first time home buyers being, aggressive market come summer.
Yeah. So
So how does this relate to that?
because they're competing in the same market space. They don't have a lot of money to buy above the $1 million threshold. But
so you
they're
think there's
willing
actually
to-
gonna be a lot of competition in the summer?
You think there'll be bidding wars?
Yeah, 100%. Summer
Oh,
and fall.
interesting.
I'm the exact opposite.
I think the opposite. Yeah.
It depends.
Just
Okay,
let's go back. Let's go highlight
me
some
ask you
market
this.
stats here.
wait, which markets are you trading in?
It doesn't matter.
Well, of course it matters.
I think every market's got flooded of inventory right now.
Richard and I will back up our claims with facts.
No. So you're saying new market and Aurora
Oh
market
yes,
is,
yes,
is
yeah.
super
yes,
slow.
yes.
I think so. I think
Yes.
it's
Okay,
gonna be
but
slow.
how about Toronto market?
Yes,
Yes,
It's
everything.
not slow.
All markets are slow.
We can make a friendly bet, man.
But what price
Wing
point?
sanity?
I'm saying,
Yeah,
I'm saying,
we lose his pace for
I'm saying
wings.
what price point?
Everything.
I think
Doesn't
the
matter.
market's going to
Let's
be
look
pretty
at
dry.
Steve, let's just review some of the stats here.
Okay,
right?
let's go.
But
Let's
there won't be
because-
any stats. We're
let's look at
talking
some
about
stats
summer
right now.
and
Okay, let's
fall.
review some of the stats here and let's give our logic
Yeah,
behind
let's
it.
let's give facts and statistics versus feelings. All right, let's go.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Okay.
All right.
So, basically in April, we saw a record number of 18,000 active listings.
That's quite a bit.
That's a lot,
Yeah, that's
right?
quite a
That's
bit.
already a lot. That's considerable, amount.
Mhm.
But how much do you think it is now in May?
Yeah, it went up.
I think it went up.
Went up.
Yeah, it definitely went up. So we're at almost 22,000 active
That's crazy.
listings.
That's
From 18 to 22
That's
another
a
4,000
20 That's a 20% increase.
of homes that are not that are
Active
being
listings. So more homes are on the
available.
market for sale.
for sale.
Yeah.
and I believe that number 22,000 is 25% above the usual average. So we're in all-time high category right
Yeah,
now.
I don't remember actually seeing
I don't think
inventory
so.
this high.
That's
really high.
resale
What-
and pre-construction,
so
like with the builder inventory, or
no,
There's
just
active
overall?
listings on the
resale.
MLS.
Yeah.
Okay.
Just to give a little bit of context, what was it last year?
So last year, the active listings was 11,869. So
Wow.
about 12,000.
It's huge. That's half.
almost double,
That's
man.
double.
So
That
that's
is
an
double.
83% change.
Those are
Oh
some
my
like
God.
meme stock numbers, man.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
double.
It's game stopping.
to
It's
the moon,
crazy.
to the moon.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, so we had, for May, we actually saw a decrease in volume of sales
Okay.
versus April.
All right.
So,
By how much?
But barely. It's
Okay,
relative. It's
okay.
all relative. So like we're about 7,100 to 7,000.
Okay.
Okay.
Pretty
Right.
flat.
But you know,
So-
part of that surge, I have a funny feeling that it contributed by a lot of pre-construction closings that ended up for this year.
Hmm.
How's that reflect
Well, if they,
on this
no, if
here,
they
though?
if they closed and they need to put it on the MLS,
Yes.
maybe those guys need to sell now to liquidate.
It's true. Okay. Yeah, that's possible.
So I know of a lot of buyers that have closed and they sign on for a very short-term mortgage, and they're trying to
Just so
like,
they don't
use
lose
that-
their deposit.
Just so, yes, exactly, because that was a big problem leading up to
Correct,
these
yeah.
several months. A lot of people could not even close, and they had to
right with the
walk away from their
assignments.
deals.
Yeah, we talked about that before.
And this contributes directly with
That's-
some of the pre-construction
So
sales being slower.
a good
do you
point.
think? I mean,
Yeah.
it'd be I would say majority of the inventory. Like I don't have the exact number, but I would say majority of the inventory is more condo sales. Or
Yeah,
more condo
we
I
have
think
a
a lot of
record
them-
number of completions this
Yeah.
year.
Mhm.
So
So yeah, I can see that, and then also why the rental market is kind of decreasing.
Yep.
In terms
Also a
of the price
lot more
because the
inventory.
supply is hitting the market
Yeah,
big
it's
time.
flooding as well. Yeah.
But
Mhm.
often these owners, it's better for them to hang on even with a negative cash flow, and then let the market settle down instead of selling at a loss. Like, why would you sell and then
well, you can't time the
Lose.
market, right?
don't speculate? Like,
Yeah,
don't
if you
gamble.
can't if you can't
If you
afford it, you can't
Exactly.
afford the mortgage, and essentially, I know some of these people they
Yeah.
can't afford
Yeah.
holding on to it at a loss. They
Yeah.
have to liquidate.
Now that we have reviewed some of these stats, going back to what Steve was talking about, the summer market, if the condo market's going to surge in terms of sales or being very competitive.
So you know what?
What do you
I
guys
can
think?
start. I
Yeah.
mean, I think now that there's so much inventory, it's going to take time for the market to absorb the inventory because buyers now have so much choice. Whereas before there was only like so many units that you can choose from, and you had to bid for everything. It doesn't seem like there's a huge demand. Even if the demand is the same, there's
Mhm.
still so much more inventory.
Right.
So demand
Well-
hasn't changed. I think.
Yeah, I think psychologically it's changed a lot because the fear of missing out, FOMO, is no longer a factor in like purchasing.
Not at all. Yeah,
It-
they can
it's,
wait.
It's completely gone. So going back even, whatever, how many years now, FOMO has been a real thing, right? It's been a real variable factor in everyone's mind that
You
if
know
I don't
what?
get now, I can't get in
A couple years ago, FOMO was not just a real thing. It was actually like
the thing.
it was an actual problem because if you didn't buy,
Yeah,
2
no, I
months
get
down
it.
the
I
road,
get it.
you
know,
actually
8
couldn't
years
buy.
ago, if you're talking about 8
Yeah.
years ago, when the market started to really like change,
Yeah.
right?
If you didn't buy, you couldn't afford it. That
Yeah.
was the actual problem. that
But
some people
do you
face.
guys know why this is the case in Canada, especially in Toronto? Because I saw a segment on the news, maybe CBC, or it's regarding the how we view real estate in Canada, because we see it as a commodity. It's always going to increase. Always going to increase in value.
Mhm.
That's why people are just
Yeah, no,
The
I
FOMO.
saw the same report.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah,
they
I
basically
remember.
they're talking about how like it's the most
safe.
Safest
it's not
investment.
the safest, but like they're saying this is the sector that actually increased the most, where our economy is dependent on real estate.
The entire GDP is dependent on real estate.
Yeah, and like our other resources are not like thriving as hard. And when you have a house, there's a lot of other ripples that happens, right? Such as contractors, furniture sales, like all
Mhm.
these things that you do want to do for your house, right? So obviously, there's a lot of economy that builds around housing. There's also a population problem too, right? We've covered this before. So the population is still increasing, but the problems with the population that I feel that's coming in right now is that it's a lesser income bringing.
Be
like,
careful
to-
what you say.
Yeah, income injecting. That's probably the right word. Income injecting type of demographic that's coming through right now for immigrants, because it's all refugees, people that are coming from other parts of the world. That we're talking about some of the countries. Like if we look at the list of most popular places, I don't want to name names, right? Yeah, I don't want to say anything negative, but yeah, like if you look at the main people that's coming through, the income that they're actually bringing in is not a lot, right? So therefore, they can't afford housing.
Well, especially since the housing here is so outrageous, right?
Okay, so right now we have all-time high record supply.
Yeah.
Demand has not changed.
Mhm.
And what else? We have
Well, let's look
rates
at
are
the
dropping.
demand. Let's
which
look
is
at the
good.
demand a little bit, right? Let's just talk about that for a second. Who are these people that actually have properties on the market right now? There's only about 6-7 reasons why people really sell real estate or buy real estate.
I think there's the before the cap gains. I think that probably contributes to some of it as well. No one wants to get taxed a little bit harder, so they're gonna try to sell prior to the cap gains. We were talking about this. It was like the last episode as well.
Yeah.
Or I can think of another reason. Well,
What's that?
during COVID, people moved away. Now they're moving back into the city due to work and commute. They don't want to travel
But
too
that
far.
doesn't contribute to the active listings. That's
they
that's
have
more of a
to
demand that's looking to buy. That's good.
Well, they have to sell off their property in the outskirts, maybe rural, and they gotta come and
Okay, but we're
And
talking
buy-
about the
but this is Trev,
22,000.
right?
Yeah, we're talking about the 22,000 active listings right now in Toronto. Yeah,
Not outskirts.
Those ones wouldn't really
London,
apply.
not
Oh, okay.
Peterborough, not like
oh,
all those other regions. We're talking about
Toronto. Why
Toronto.
is there more
yeah.
active?
Who are the people that are? Who are the 22,000?
Who needs to sell right now?
Who are the 22,000 that have the properties on the market right
Well,
now?
another reason maybe between this year, 2025, 2026, these 3 years, all Canadians are due for mortgage renewal.
Okay,
and
so
they
financial
don't-
pressure.
Financial pressure. They don't want to
Okay,
pay
so
the
there's a
higher
lot of people
rates.
that are under financial pressure right now. That's
sure.
probably has their property on the market.
Anyone
What,
that's
are,
up,
what other
getting a
people? What other
renewal.
demographic?
just
is looking to
investors
sell?
trying to get out.
Yeah,
That's it.
trying to cash out,
Yeah.
right? Because
Yeah.
you see the drop in the market dropping.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
that's-
also there's no investors buying.
right, and then people who are dying, the
Dying?
losers,
What do you mean
people
dying?
who died,
Physically?
like
But
people who
isn't
had-
that always a thing? It's
so
not just
death is a reason why people sell, right? Because
There's
if they
some,
died,
absolutely,
they're dead.
has death rate gone up?
I don't know, right?
No, I'm just kind of
But
thinking
I'm
like,
just-
why would it
these
go
are
up?
okay, why would anybody sell? Right
Oh,
now?
reasons. Okay.
Yeah, why would anybody sell right now? I would also say people who are going through divorces.
Because of the financial stresses.
Well, because they have to sell because they have to split the assets.
Well, there's that too.
Yeah, a lot of divorces happen because of financial, right? Financial
Yeah.
Well,
stress.
why do people even get divorced? It's either cheating or financial arguments between the couple, right?
So aside from their own
not
home,
promoting
there
it.
could be a portfolio, right? Just the assets you're saying, like they could be selling off some of the rental properties and their own home, just so they could cash out the other partner.
Yeah.
I've definitely seen that.
So So basically, the reason why what I'm thinking is that the active listings are out because this purpose, and the people who are
Because of divorce and death.
divorce, death, financial pressure,
Mhm.
right? Mostly, I would say it's mostly the investors that are trying to list or sell their properties right now.
I'm sure there's some.
Do you think so?
There's quite a bit.
I would say majority of the block is probably investors.
So we have 22,000 active listings
Yeah,
right
and
now.
only 7,000
sales.
sales.
That sucks.
So
That's
the
a
sales are
big
not.
difference.
It's not moving the inventory.
So-
not enough.
I would say as we approach the summer, these active listings are just going to keep
That's it.
accumulating. They're
Yeah.
not going to go down.
I don't
Yeah.
think buyer motivation is very
No.
high still. Let's just say next month there's another 7,000 sales. You're still left over with 14,000 plus new
No,
listings
I
coming
think
through.
without a doubt the amount of listings would go up, but I'm claiming that the activity will go up, like in terms of
I don't
transactions.
I think it'll still be 7,000 next month.
Okay, traditionally,
I'm just-
summer has been a very
It's
slow
very
time.
It's slower
right?
too, right?
It's weird how some people think that summertime is actually very busy.
It's like a hot
not.
season.
It's
It's
the
not.
complete opposite.
No.
Everyone's on vacation.
No,
They're at the
that's-
cottage.
That's true.
Yeah.
Like I would say end of summer, like leading into fall, that's where you see the uptick.
Yeah,
Yeah, around
so
fall.
I mean, in terms of transactions, like buy and sale transactions, summer is generally pretty
Very
slow.
slow.
So which
Not
which
historically,
months?
not the last couple
July and
years.
August are slow.
July and August are generally more rental months. That's when like the rental market really heats
That's
up
right before school.
because everyone's
Yeah.
moving around school time,
Right,
right?
right.
Yeah.
But
And
there
then-
could also be another interest rate drop in July,
Mhm.
right? Is it July?
yeah, July.
It's July.
6 weeks every 6 weeks they reevaluate.
Again, it could drop, but I don't think it's going to do too much
Yeah.
anyways.
So if they do one in July, they do one in September. I
Why
think
do
it
you
would-
why do you guys think buyers are not capitalizing on the number of listings now? Because obviously you can go, hey, you know what? This guy's offering this. I'll buy it off you at a lower price. So you're bidding sellers against each other. Why don't you do that?
Look, it's not, things are not logical. The market is all based on psychological, emotional.
Mhm.
Okay. So here's a poll that I found from the Global News, and it conducts a poll against like 1,000 people and saying why are they not buying right now? Okay. So 63% of the polls say that they'll remain on the sideline due to the housing market still being too high from the interest rates.
Okay.
63%. That's pretty high,
That's very high.
right? Because realistically, 0.25 doesn't really
doesn't
do
move the
anything.
needle.
It doesn't really move the needle at all. And also, 6% of the poll said that interest rates would have to drop by less than 1% for them to consider buying a property. So those are the ones that are more motivated, right?
Interesting.
Okay.
So they would need to see it at 3%. Sorry, the 4%.
No, one-
Around
at the-
four.
Less
the
than
Bank of
1%.
Canada rate.
Less than 1%. So these guys are more motivated. So we already dropped 0.25, right?
okay,
So,
okay,
but
okay.
only 6% though.
That's a small.
That's very small.
demographic.
So these are the people that are willing to jump on the market now, which is not very much. 1 in 4, which is basically 25%, say they need to see cuts between 1 to 4% to get in order to get into the market.
4%. That's like free money at that
25%
Oh, this-
want that, right?
point. Oh, okay.
In order for them to make a move.
In order for, or just maybe afford to make the move.
Sure. And the last point here is 10% said they needed steeper drops to make home
Oh,
ownership
they want
a
the
possibility.
bubble
They
to burst.
need like
Right.
0% interest rates or something like that.
Oh, that's the dreamer segment.
0% 45-year
Well,
amortization.
can
yeah,
dream a
you know what?
little.
Like,
You could dream a little.
But then also 45% of the respondents say that they can't afford a home no matter what. So no matter what interest rates are, it's not looking good. There's not much demand right now,
Mhm.
and supply
That's
keeps
interesting.
piling up.
but
I
you know what?
don't
Like, I think
see-
that's just very. It's all emotion based. That survey sounds
It
like
is.
right because if people are looking at the market now, like people are saying 1 to 4%, 1 to 4. I mean, let's just look at that demographic because that demographic would be people that are thinking about buying, but they need it to be in a certain affordability factor, right? But if the pricing starts to come down, right? Because right now people are still holding their prices high, right? They want the higher number. They're looking at 2022 and they're like, I want this number.
Yep.
they don't
Why
want
not? Yeah.
the record numbers was 2022, right? And everyone's like, oh, this is what my house is
That's
worth.
my standard,
Yeah,
right? That's
right.
the new
And
standard.
they haven't adjusted to what the market is right now. And they have-
I find a lot of sellers now, they're still reluctant to hear what we have to say. And when we tell them that, okay, market is not very active, prices are, let's say the house is worth $1 million. In their mind, they're still like, oh, I still want one, I still want 1.2 because, you know, those guys sold it at whatever price, but my house is always better. But everyone thinks their house is the best. It's
yeah,
kind
for
of
sure,
like,
for sure. But you know what? The thing is that like they have to come to terms when they are looking to actually sell because when they're looking to sell, like they have to see, okay, what the buyers are willing
what
to
is
pay.
the actual market?
Yeah,
willing to do?
Okay, so
It's-
public announcement, public service announcement, PSA,
PSA,
right? Realtors don't set the prices.
we don't.
Wow, that's news.
We only report what the market is actually giving you. That well, the buyers are the people that are actually going to buy.
Yeah, like we don't force buyers to pay a certain amount. It's whatever they can afford. Right now, because of the interest rates, banks are not allowing them to purchase higher pricing. That's just a fact. So sellers can always want more. Everyone wants to win the lottery, but you're not going to get it.
The general public, they do expect, realtors to be experts and magicians. Like they need you to be stating the higher price and then come up with the one buyer that will pay like above market.
Right.
In
There's
a
always
down
going to be a lot
market.
of different
There's a
sellers like that
disconnect.
for
There's
sure.
a disconnect.
But what do you guys see? Like, so you guys are basically saying that the market conditions going forward is going to be pretty slow.
At least for the summer. I don't see it picking up at all during the summer.
Well, summer's a slow season anyways, so I don't think there's going to be more activity all of a sudden. Like,
Definitely not.
every year the trend's the same. You got your spring market, which is always the hottest. But because of our spring market was already kind of a little slow,
It didn't spring, yeah.
it didn't spring. So
spring.
how can the summer magically outperform spring market?
It won't.
It won't.
Nope.
Right?
It won't. I mean, everyone thought, okay, maybe potentially once the rate drops in June, then people would start to react and start to change their mindsets a little bit, but it didn't change.
No, I'm still
Yeah.
seeing like open houses, four groups or
Yeah,
something
we're
coming
probably
in
gonna
for the whole
see
time.
we're probably gonna see a record number of open houses this summer.
It's true.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Go
everybody's like, oh, we can just go to open houses.
grab some goodies, man. Hopefully they start giving out some like
What would you do
bubble
if
tea or
you
something.
Champagne.
no, if you were to do an open house today, what would you do to bring people in?
Oh, cha time, man.
Yeah, that's big spender. I come in, just grab it and go.
Yeah, everyone's gonna be.
I expect that.
It's gonna be a whole different idea of
Yeah.
how you're gonna host your open house.
Do you still set up? Do you set up balloons, helium? Do you attract people that way?
I think you
Foot traffic-
gotta
foot
hire a
traffic?
clown. Just put it outside. Come to the open house.
I'm sure there's lots of different ways, guys. Like, but it's a good. No, so I think so. What do you guys think that the summer is gonna be slow? The fall, where do you see the fall happening?
It could pick up in the fall. If there's 2 more rate drops,
Even at a quarter each, I
Yeah.
think it'll move the needle quite a bit because now after 3, like, even 2 drops, I feel like people are gonna be like, okay,
It's a trend.
it is going in the right direction because a quarter doesn't really move the needle in terms of confidence. It is better than not moving, but they need another little nudge.
it also takes time for people to absorb this information
I
as
think
well.
so. Yeah.
Right. And especially like, don't think rate drops are really good news. It's not. Like, it just means that the economy is not doing as well. The last week, a couple days ago, they released some job reports. Unemployment, it has the percentage has gone up a little bit by 6.2%.
Mhm.
So it's not rosy. It's not good news.
What's the unemployment rate at now?
It's like 6.2.
6.2.
It edged up a little bit. Losing jobs and stuff like that is not a good thing.
Well, again, it's going to take some time for the general market to accept the fact or see changes because a quarter rate drop it might change your lifestyle. Like now your mortgage is a little bit less.
Yeah, people in the real estate market, it's only going to really impact their mortgage, right? Variable mortgage. It would impact people because if they have like
Well, the
money in the
overall
line of
economy too,
credit,
right?
if they have money in the like whatever like loans that they have, then that would also they'll save a little bit of money on the interest rate. So,
Do you guys think that like I always go back to just like daily spending? Now with a rate drop, because it affects the loans, all that stuff, do you think there's going to be a little bit more injection into the economy, just overall spending?
No.
Doubt it.
No.
Think about all the food price, gas price, everything increased.
Yeah, they already
Delivery,
increased.
They already increased.
Yeah.
That eats up any buffer that you may have had.
So now people are feeling a little bit more relief, but they're not spending more still.
It's
Well,
a pinch.
0.25 is an extra what?
It's
60
not
bucks
much.
a month
It's
extra
not much. It's not much.
on average.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it might help some people, but like there's a lot of people that are still struggling to make their bills every month,
100%, yeah,
right, to make their
absolutely.
ends meet.
Yeah.
And food banks, believe it or not, I've heard news that food banks are dry.
Yeah,
Surgery.
They have no food left.
yeah.
Like people are not donating, so they have no food left.
Who can donate, right?
Well, yeah, it's a bad cycle.
Yeah.
Most of us agree that the market's going to keep chugging along, but not very active in the next couple months. So I don't blame people on the sidelines one bit.
My prediction is transactions are still going to happen, but only for the people that need it. So only the people that need, maybe they have
A baby,
a baby,
necessity.
life-changing things. Maybe they got married and they need to buy something. For the first-time home buyer, actually, it would be a good time to negotiate a better deal for, let's say, your first home could be a condo, one bedroom, 1+10. I think those people would stand to benefit because now you got a rate drop and you got inventory to negotiate with. I think it's a good time versus, let's say, you get a couple rate drops and now that negotiating power goes back to the seller.
Well, you have a couple of rate drops. It changes the psychology. I
It
think.
changes the dynamic.
But again,
for
we
sure.
can't time the market. If we can, I'd be
Can't.
on an island
Yeah.
somewhere, so not here.
I'm just thinking with with the fall market, guys, like what do you I think that the fall market will be busier if they do a couple of rate drops.
It'll definitely be better than now. It'll be more busy.
I
Than
think
now.
it'll be better than spring.
Yeah, but are we back to bidding wars in the fall? I don't think so
No,
either.
I don't think so.
Because
I think
again,
it'll
we
be-
still have to get rid of these 22,000 active listings too, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, right now, if we have 7,000 and we have about 22,000, that's just over 3 months of inventory, right? So therefore, that's going to take some time to.
Yeah. Right now, there's a bit of a stalemate between buyers and sellers, anyways. Like the buyer expectation is like prices are still too high. Sellers still want the best price possible.
It'd be
There's still a
interesting.
pretty big
Yeah.
gap right now.
And then next month, everyone's at the beach. So no one's going to buy.
Yeah.
So they're going to come back later. I think in the fall. I think a slight increase in the fall. That's my prediction anyways.
So now, when they force offer date buyers to bid, do you find it failing? Like not
Yeah,
being able to
a lot.
sell,
Failing
A
often.
lot.
not meeting the price, and then
Very
increasing
often.
the price?
I see
That's
that
the-
a lot.
Is that the next move for somebody?
Okay, well,
selling?
I mean, see, here's the thing: is that most people, agents, a lot of majority agents, they don't prep their client expectation, right? If their expectation is 2022 expectation still, and they're putting this up for sale, and they're trying to do bid wars, even if they're giving you market value or proper pricing, their expectations are still above what the market is willing to pay.
Yeah.
Right.
They
And
won't
therefore,
listen.
then they won't. They're like, okay, no, I don't want this. I want
It's
I want
too
this.
low. Yeah.
Yeah. So therefore, there's a gap.
The
right? So-
expectation has to be realistic in order
Yeah,
for
like
the
our-
sale to go through.
like our job as a real estate agent is that we understand the market, we study the market, we understand how to help you navigate through the market, to help you make the transition either from buying your first home or helping you transition from one home to the next home, right? It's our job to help you do that, but navigate through it. If you don't know how to protect yourself, you don't know how to put conditions in, or what pricing to put in, then it's kind of like shooting darts at a dartboard. Like you don't know what's going to happen.
One major thing that differentiates the real estate market with like other products, even cars or whatever commodities, is that pricing is not static. It's very, very dynamic. Everything that changes in the market, everything that affects it, rates, buyer confidence, seller confidence, they all change, and it never stands still. So it's our job to pick up on it and educate our clients on it.
Okay. Well, I mean, in conclusion, market's slow, still slow. So
Yeah, still slow.
anything else you guys want to add?
No, I'm good.
No, I
Enjoy
think
the
that's
summer.
good. Yeah, enjoy the
Yeah.
summer.
I mean, even for us, right? I mean, usually summer is when I take a little break.
Yeah,
We'll come back.
Travel, do some traveling.
yeah,
Do some traveling.
do something, enjoy the weather, and also to like, share, and subscribe if you like our content.
There we go. There
Okay.
you go.
All right,
Very
let's
enthusiastic.
go.
Okay.
Thanks.
All right. See you guys.
Thanks, guys.
See you guys.